Okay, so I'm going to be continuing in my series on Nietzsche's book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, book for none and all. I apologize for the light, by the way. I'm going to be doing section number 7 on reading and writing, which, there's a lot of language in here and a lot of, passages that can be looked at as difficult, and I would think that way as well. But there is kind of one general thing here. He mentions things like dancing and the passions and such. He says, for instance, life is hard to bear, but do not act so tenderly. That does in a way relate to what the Ubermensch is, and there are just a lot of different things in this one. It's not that long, but there's just a lot of different things in here that could mean different things. It's not quite straightforward thought. But one thing he says, of all that is written, I love only what a man has written with his blood. Write with blood, and you will experience that blood of spirit. It is not easily possible to understand the blood of another. I hate reading idlers. Whoever knows the reader will henceforth do nothing for the reader. Another century of readers, and the spirit itself will stink. That everyone, and here's kind of a main thing here, that everyone may learn to read in the long run corrupts not only writing but also thinking. Once the spirit was God, then he became man, and now he even becomes rabble. So one theme of this part of this book is simply that of the education that is kind of mandated for everybody. That kind of lawful mandate that everybody must be given some level of education for everybody and for the masses, and in a way that can reduce the quality of it, reduce the what Kaufman calls the to lower cultural standards. So to mandate such education, for everybody, can lower the standards of that education, lower the standards of what's being taught. And that's kind of, I would have to agree with that. That everyone may learn to read in the long run corrupts not only writing but also thinking. Once the spirit was God, then he became man, and now he becomes rabble. You say to me, life is hard to bear, but why would you have your pride in the morning and your resignation in the evening? Life is hard to bear, but do not act so tenderly. We are all of us fair beasts of burden, male and female asses. What do we have in common with the rosebud, which trembles because a drop of dew lies on it? And that's kind of, in a way, likening to, the defeated spirit, the spirit of resignation, and kind of in this part he kind of talks out against living your life in a sort of a defeatist fashion or a resigned fashion. That you shouldn't live your life in a way where you are acquiescing or taking the path of least resistance. So in the way this passage does, show, it shows Zarathustra's thought on what the Ubermensch is. Now he says, I would believe only in a God who could dance, and when I saw my devil I found him serious, thorough, profound, and solemn. I was the spirit of gravity, through him all things fall. Not by wrath does one kill, but by laughter. Come, let us kill the spirit of gravity. I have learned to walk ever since I let myself run. I have learned to fly ever since I do not want to be pushed before moving along. Now I am light. Now I fly. Now I see myself beneath myself. Now a God dances through me. Thus spoke Zarathustra. So this is still something that could be open to many different interpretations, but I can see how, in a way, it's connected to the idea of the Ubermensch or the Overman, along with the idea that education being mandated for everybody, for the masses, can reduce the quality of such education. So, if you think I've messed something up or left something out in this part of the Zarathustra, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be moving on to on the Three Mountains, on the tree on the mountainside, and which is probably going to be even more difficult to talk about.